The Full Circle Podcast. Compelling interviews and incredible tales from Colorado's western slope, from the mountains to the desert. Christi Reece and her team hear from the movers, shakers, and characters of the Grand Valley and surrounding mountain towns that make the western slope the place we all love. You'll learn, you'll laugh, you'll love with The Full Circle. Hi, everyone, and welcome back to the Full Circle Podcast. I'm Christi Reece, your host, and I'm so excited today to have with me some of the top agents at the Christi Reece Group. We're going to have a panel discussion about the state of affairs in Mesa County real estate in general, Christi Reece Group, and AI and how it's affecting our industry, and anything else we want to talk about. So let's get into it, guys. Welcome. Yay. I would love for you all to introduce yourselves, tell everybody your name and how many years you've been in the real estate business.
My name is Mike Tofel. I've been selling houses in one way or another here for 11 years.
I'm Christina Sadler, and I've been selling real estate for almost 8 years now.
Hey, I'm Jen Taylor, and I just had my 7th anniversary.
Karen Sadler, and 9 years now.
And I'm Reece Stanley, and coming up on year 7.
Right on. All right, guys. Well, we want to talk a little bit about what's going on in the Grand Junction market first. I think everybody always wants to know when we're out, how's the market, right? That's the question they always ask. So if you are going to describe the current state of the Grand Valley real estate market in one word, or let's say less than 10, what would you say, Reece?
I think in one word, I'd say opportunity. You know, right now, sellers can still get a great price for their home and capture that equity that they have in their home, but buyers are starting to see that sellers are willing to negotiate a little bit, and rates are softening, so there's opportunity to get into a home for a smaller payment. So yeah, overall, I'd say that there's opportunity out there.
No, I agree. For a while there before the holidays, quite a different season we had this holiday season, and everybody's starting to come out now. I felt like things were really shifting. We're not normally that quiet during the holiday season. I felt like that was really different this year. So as we started into January, I was like, is this going to keep going like that? But now we're on the hamster wheel.
Yeah. Do you want us to go around like this?
You can, and we don't have to do it with every question, but if you want to start on this first one, we'll get a little input from everybody.
Yeah, I think probably enthusiastic is my word for the Grand Junction market. I think that, over time, having lived here for all of us in our own tenures here, but 33, 34 years for me, having watched Grand Junction kind of find its identity and it be the best version of itself year over year, I think we're more bolstered in our real estate economy here than other places, and certainly than our friends on the Front Range. So yeah. I think it's enthusiastic here.
Yeah, and also the ski areas. I mean, it's been a tough year with low snow, and I understand that their sales are really down. So I think we're going to benefit.
Yep.
I would say I've been using the word defrost in a lot of conversations with people lately. I think that, to echo what you said about the condition of our market at the end of last year, a lot of sellers were a little nervous, showings were a little slow. And I think historically what we know about seasonality in real estate is as the sun comes out, so do the buyers. So I've been saying the people are defrosting as we see the sun. So hang in there, and things are moving really great so far. So.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah, I also agree with the seasonality. I mean, we have over 11 years, I feel like I've seen a lot of these cycles where we have constant sales throughout the year, but it does pick up in the spring, and especially when the weather changes, and it doesn't make sense, but it just always happens like that. So it must have something to do with that. And I think we just have a consistent market, but a lot of the buyers are very specific in what they're looking for right now. In the past, I think, when it was COVID, it was just like, it was a free for all. But now you're getting these more focused buyers they know what they want and they're willing to wait for it. And so when the right opportunity comes up, then they are ready to snap on it. Like, I feel like a sniper, like if the right house comes up and it's like you get a call and they want to go see it right away. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like spring starts in Grand Junction in February. I used to call it spearfishing, like that. It's exactly what it was for a long time, and now they are being more intentional. they have the opportunity to be more intentional.
Right.
Yeah.
And that brings me to like being a seller. You want to have like when your house hits the market, you want to have that house in perfect condition right from the beginning. You don't want to like wait till you get bad feedback and then make adjustments. I mean, you want to have right when you list that thing, because it's so important to get that first 7 to 10 days with, you know, those people that have been waiting to snipe on a house, and then they jump on the opportunity. And if they're not wowed, then you're done. Like they'll go on to the next one right away.
That spring fever, you can really feel it when the market starts to pick up. The buyers are anxious and the sellers are ready, and it's just it's good energy.
And there's excitement with a new listing comes on. You know, I mean, you only get that once. So you want to take advantage of that right away.
Speaking of sellers, if we have some sellers watching and listening, I know one question that I always get is, where are your buyers coming from? Where are our feeder markets? So in your experience and the buyers you're working with right now, where are you seeing people coming from that are moving outside the area to the Grand Valley?
Being a part of a new construction project, it seems like a lot of our buyers are coming from the Front Range, meaning Denver and that area, but also out of state. You know, quite a few from Texas that we've had come into the area, and also California seems to be the feeder markets that I'm seeing, and specifically in that new construction project.
And those homes are 700 plus.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we're still finding people trying to get away from the snow, get down here where the winters are a little bit lighter. They're getting tired of shoveling snow, and so we're still having that. Yeah.
I would say too, just to pass it on down, I would say too, we see a lot of folks that where the second home was in the mountain towns. Now we're seeing the mountain towns come to us. I think we're all aging out, like you said, Karen, of the shoveling snow and the cold sits in our bones a little bit longer. You know, we're at the Gen X era anyway. And so I think we're seeing more of that. Yeah, we're now becoming the primary for those folks. It's fun.
Yeah, and we're becoming also a resort community for some people. Which is, we used to be the primary and people would have a second home somewhere else besides Grand Junction, but now people come here for recreation. Yeah, love that. All right, let's go back to buyers a little bit. What are some of the biggest misconceptions you think buyers have about our current market? If they're sitting on the fence, they're waiting, is it about interest rates? Is it about home prices? And are those misconceptions, or are those, are there a lot of their fears based in reality?
I think that when we're shopping with buyers, we see a lot more just desire to be selective with what people are looking for. And we've seen a lot of people kind of hanging out on the sidelines waiting for rates to drop. And I think all of us have said for how many years, if I had the crystal ball, we would be really rich and be able to tell everybody loads of truths. But to see interest rates starting to soften now and open opportunities for people, I think I would encourage buyers to seek that opportunity and to work with somebody that really understands what their pain points and concerns are in the shopping experience, because there's good things coming and good things actively going on. So, I think maybe that's more of a reality than we anticipated seeing. It's so early in the year. I mean, their buyers are busy and out shopping and looking, and open houses are well attended. So
yes, they are.
I feel really great about that. Yeah.
I also think people are accepting the interest rates as they are. I mean, they go up and down slightly, but generally over the last, couple years, it's just been pretty steady. And a lot of times, a lot of buyers will say, it's, I'll just wait for the rates to drop, but they're not dropping significantly.
Yeah.
I mean, they are trending lower, and I think that I'm hoping that continues, but I mean, they're not going to be 3%. They're not going to be 4%.
No, they're not going back to that.
Yeah.
And maybe that's a misconception on the part of some buyers that they're going to get that low again. See it happening.
Yeah.
That's what I was going to say. I mean, that was an anomaly. That's never going to happen again. And the fact is, the interest rates we have right now are actually pretty normal. When I bought my first house, it was 8.5%. And we thought that was pretty decent. So we're sitting in a really good spot. I am finding some buyers who, they still want to shop in this price point or this type of house that they want, and the interest rates are a little higher. So they are misguided in thinking that they can get the price they want to get that mortgage payment they want monthly, and that the seller's going to give up that much money off the price. So there's a little bit of misconception.
I'd say kind of in the same vein too, is that home prices, there for a little bit, buyers were like, well, this is a bubble. Prices are going to come back down. And we're just not seeing that. Like in order for prices to come back down, we need a major influx of inventory. And right now, we look at our stats on a weekly basis at our meetings, and our pending homes are still outpacing new listings. So while it's become a little more balanced, like it's not tipping in the favor of prices dropping dramatically. Like, yeah, you have sellers that are a little more agreeable to some negotiations, maybe offering some concessions or different things, but dramatic price drops is not what we're going to be seeing.
And do you guys feel like, I feel like this is, for the longest time, this is about as much the most balanced market than we've had in a while. Like you can go back, like when you're pricing a house, and like I typically would go back, when COVID, I was like, oh, I hope I can find something within a month or two, because it was just happening so fast. Now I can go back to a year and it's pretty much similar price. Like you can, you don't have to just use those really recent comps, because our market's been so steady price wise.
And so when you're looking at more of a balanced market, who would you say has the negotiating power right now?
Oh, I think that's what I think is great about it. I think it's pretty even.
Pretty even.
And then it comes down to, how well your house is, positioned against the other houses in a similar price range, similar size, similar neighborhood. So you have to really make it stand out.
Yeah, pricing to your competition is as important as pricing to the most recent sales.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. And I think it's still technically a seller's market by data, but it feels like buyers have more purchasing power now than they've had in a long time.
And they're not as desperate. They've been waiting. They're willing to wait longer. They're more choosy. And so that's kind of putting the sellers in a position of they got to have their house really ready to go. But also the buyers are just not jumping on things like crazy.
I think it's created a really interesting negotiation space between buyers and sellers as well. Not only are sellers willing to contribute in a way that we haven't seen in a while, I also think it's almost creating a space for buyers to have conversations about things that are priorities to them when they're shopping, and be able to get things taken care of that are really meaningful to them. Mm-hmm. And when you're leading with negotiations as an agent, I think it's so important to make sure that each person feels like they're winning, because the way that we set our clients up for success through the most stressful parts of a transaction contributes so much to people's perception of our market. Did they have a positive experience moving through things, or was it stressful? And what we can do to contribute to just overall feel when you're moving through a transaction, I think that's super, super important.
Yeah.
I was just going to add to the negotiation side, a couple of years ago, if you were a seller, the negotiation was you pretty much could wait for your price and your terms. And now, you're probably going to get one or the other. You might not get the desired closing timeline or something else along in the transaction. Maybe you're more willing to make repairs to your home, or maybe that comes in the form of a price reduction. But like to their points, it is more balanced in that there's a little give, a little take from both sides of the transaction.
Mm-hmm. And part of our job is to set expectations with our sellers and buyers and say, here's what we're seeing in the market. There's a little bit of everything. Are there houses that are selling full price, cash, no concessions, day one? Yes. But there are also things that are lingering on the market. There are things that are needing concessions. Sellers are giving concessions. So there's a lot going on.
I was going to add too, and this is right along with what both of you two were saying, it's more of a two-way street now, right? When you've got two people coming in feeling like maybe they both gave a little or they both compromised together, I think it's just better as a whole for the entire market, for our whole community to feel like they didn't get taken for a ride, right? That the seller gave a little and I compromised this, and two-way street.
Yeah, love it. Let's talk about where you think the biggest opportunity exists right now. Is it maybe for first-time buyers, people relocating from out of the area, maybe coming from a more expensive market to our market? Is there opportunity in the luxury sector of our market? And maybe the first person that tackles that can talk about what luxury is in our market. And what about investments, fix and flips, things like that? Where is the opportunity?
I think, well, we started that. That was your word, right? Was opportunity. And I think the market as a whole, let's set that as a blanket. But I think that, I think for first-time homebuyers in the new construction bracket, with Barrack Estates and some of the JCI builds in particular, I think that type of product is a fantastic opportunity for that entry-level gateway product right now, particularly in Grand Junction. And I don't think we're probably ever going to get back to new construction sub 400,000. I think that's probably behind us now. And it wasn't that long ago that new construction sub 300,000 was that was a glimpse. And so it's still an opportunity. Yeah.
And Karen and I had a long talk about the great advantages that new construction can offer a buyer, that you don't have to fix anything. Like maybe you want more square footage with an older home, but boy, moving into brand new construction and not having to worry about your water heater and your heating system and all those things is such a comfort to a lot of buyers.
I think too, for buyers, there's always opportunity and value add. So if you're willing to go into a property and make some investments into that property, you can build equity that way. And on the flip side, as a seller right now, as Mike mentioned earlier, if your property is dialed from day one when you list, your opportunity is that you're going to draw more attention to your listing, likely get under contract faster at that price that you're set with your agent. So I think that's the other side of the coin, I guess.
Just real quick, along with what you were saying there, Jen, this first-time home buyer opportunity and investment for that matter, the cost of building it's going up, right? Those energy efficient codes that we're having to bring up just a little bit is, I say get in there right now and buy those sub 4s, because they're going to have instant equity. You're going to be a completely different place in 6 months.
I also think there are these little microclimates too that are within the market where you have, certain segments. Let's just say, for instance, there's a like 1.4 to 1.8 million, and there's 15 houses that have been on the market for 200 days plus. You know what I mean? There's probably something in that right there. People, they don't want to have their house on the market for 200 months or 200 days or 200 months. So, don't be afraid to, go look at those houses and see, because a lot of times they get stigmatized. Oh, that one's been on the market for so long. I don't know if we want to go look at it. It's probably got a big problem. Well, maybe they just priced it a little off initially, and there's some opportunity there to, maybe they don't want to have it, they want to get rid of it. They want to, move on to the next phase. So I would say go look at those that have been on the market a long time. Don't let those opportunities pass you by.
Yeah, the market was shifting quickly as we came into Q3, Q4 last year. And so those homes where a seller, where the conversation happened, the market comp supported a price, the seller listed it. We empower the sellers to pick their own price, of course. The seller went live at their price, at their offer price, asking price, and then the market shifted in the meantime, and things happened pretty quickly. And so we're seeing still a lot of the fallout from that, I think. To your point, Mike, that it's not necessarily the home's fault. It's there are opportunities out there. So
yeah, those last couple quarters were kind of sluggish, and there were some great houses that didn't sell just because of the market conditions. Yeah. All right, let's zoom out a little bit and talk about local versus national. So people hear dramatic national housing trends, stories in the news, and things that are going on around the country every week. How much of that actually applies to Grand Junction? And do you all pay any attention to that? What industry news do you read? What do you pay attention to? What is reality for you and that you relay to your clients?
I think it's really important that we keep a really close eye on the conversations that are being had on a macro scale. We get a lot of people that are relocating here from big city areas, chasing something a little smaller and quieter and softer. And it's important for us to know what other people's perception of our state is. I think a lot of people think of Colorado and immediately associate it with big places like Denver and, Fort Collins, places like that. And historically, we've been really sheltered and fortunate to not feel the impact of things that have been, whether that's something hyper positive or that's created challenges. I think we're insulated in a way that makes our industry feel a little gentler almost than other parts of the country and other parts of the state. So I think it's super important.
Agree.
I've always felt like Grand Junction was its own bubble. I mean, everything that's going on elsewhere, they're panicking about this or that. It's not happening here. I mean, I felt like, even through COVID, other places, nothing's happening. That was my busiest year ever. So I call this the mystery belt, right? Everybody else is suffering all these different things, and we're just consistently staying consistent. So I've always felt like we're a bubble.
And people are coming here for jobs, don't get me wrong, but a lot of people are coming here like about to retire or retiring, and they're here for the recreation opportunities, and it just doesn't get any better. So that is such a big driver to the people that I sell houses to, and I just think that stream of buyers to this area is just not, it just doesn't vary too much. It's not going to dry up. It doesn't dry up. And so we have that constant flow, which isn't industry related, and I think that's contributing to the being insulated.
I think too, back to Christina saying we don't have the crystal ball, right? But if you look forward at just even like new developments that we have going on, our team represents a number of builders and developers, and residential projects that are coming into the area. They show us that there's a lot of new product that's going to be coming online, and buyer demand for that. And in that same way, on the commercial side, we're seeing some unique commercial developments that are only going to help support our community as well. So that's really exciting.
I'll go after you. No, I was just going to say quickly as to what Mike was saying. When I first moved here, I felt like this was very much a retirement community. And after we went through the pandemic, and now we have all these young entrepreneurial people that are moving in, people coming here to start a family. We're not a resort where people come to visit and then go back home now. They're making their home here because the lifestyle that's here, they can do and work from home. I think that has been such a huge shift in this community, and it has just made it so exciting and so vibrant. It's really neat to see.
I agree. And I think the going back to that, the brand of Grand Junction and the brand of the Grand Valley has shifted so much since, I would say, maybe 2017 or so, when there was a big shift in the leaders of the valley. The pillars, the economic pillars here shifted, and outdoor rec and the outdoor rec economy contributed more and was more validated as a contributor to our economy. And then all of a sudden, the stories and the headlines started to shift, and Palisade has always had its viticulture and its own tourism aspect. Fruita's created their own brand, and Grand Junction started to finally find and get traction with our own version of, and I think we really have continually become the best version of ourselves. So I think it all contributes to that bubble. But for me, the brand and what Elizabeth has done at GJ Tourism at Visit GJ has changed so much.
Yeah.
And
she's a powerhouse.
Yeah, she is.
And I love the collaboration that happens among the organizations, the economic organizations in town, and the movers and shakers that are, really staying with the on brand messages. Yeah. Love it. What are the other things that you think drive people to our area, and what moves our market? And I would include inventory in that conversation. What inventory do we have that is attractive to buyers coming from out of the area? What inventory are we lacking?
I would say certainly inventory and homes that are for sale close to trailheads is probably one of the first thing that comes up. I know it does for all of us, and particularly for you too, Mike. But homes that have access or rideability, pedestrian access to the trailheads is super important. That inventory is somewhat available, but also equally limited, I would say, because we have 75%, arguably 73, 74, 75% open space here, and quite a few trailheads throughout the valley. Yeah. So there are opportunities, but boy, when those homes come up, they get nabbed. So, yeah.
I would say too, when you look at affordable housing in Colorado, the Front Range has become very expensive, and though the Western Slope has increased in the past few years, you can still get into a great single-family home for under $500,000. So depending on what stage you're at, obviously there's higher prices and lower prices, but you can get into a great property at that price point still. And then simply, it's in the name, Grand Junction. It's a junction of the rivers, but I also feel like it's like just a great, what do you always call it? Launching pad? Is that what you call it? You know, into outdoor rec.
Yeah.
We just have so many world-class destinations that are a half-day drive away from here, as well as right here in our backyard. So,
all right, let's talk about some of the biggest changes we've seen in the last 10 years in real estate in the Grand Valley, or maybe just real estate as a whole. Obviously, headshots. People are updating them more frequently.
We see you.
Some of the things that I had written down was consumer access to information, right? The Zillow perspective, all the information that you can get while you're out driving around. You used to have to go to a realtor to get that kind of stuff. The speed of communication, the ease of accessibility, shifts in lending, and market volatility. What are some of the things that you're seeing in the overall industry that have affected this business the most?
I mean, you do have, the Zillow and Realtor.com, all that stuff where people can find so much more information, at their fingertips before they call one of us to get into, to actually look into a house inside. But I just think that's causing that sniper effect, more of that, where it's just like they're holding, they're waiting. They don't want to bother anybody, but it's like, look, don't worry about bothering us. Like, let's go and take a look.
Yeah.
But, yeah. Yeah. But normally, you would have to just call and have a conversation with an agent and then start, having them send you stuff, but they just have so much information. You can do so much of the legwork before you go, and then you can be actually very prepared once you start.
And I think too, the consumer just having that information and feeling more informed, I think they feel like they have more to offer in the conversations, right? They feel like they have some knowledge. They're not totally blindsided and show me what to do. I don't know how to do this. I haven't done this in 25 years. I think it's empowered them.
We talk a lot in our office about this being a people business. Obviously we're technology powered, and I think it's great that consumers are empowered with more information. Makes our job easier in some ways, but we really thrive in this being a people relationship industry. Talk about that a little bit.
I think that particularly open houses have changed really significantly in the last 8 years that I've been here. But, I think the people interaction, I feel like when you hear somebody's voice on the phone and you can't put a face or mannerisms to the person that you're speaking to, it changes how receptive you are to information. It changes how you ask questions of somebody. And open houses have really almost, I don't want to say taken the place of consultations, but I would say a lot of the way that we meet clients and how we interact with people begins at an open house. And it didn't used to be that way. It was very much, hey, I'm going to call this person and, hopefully, you got 10 seconds or however many minutes to showcase yourself to the best of your ability and hope that you find some level of trust or common ground with a person that is just a voice on the phone. So I think open houses have really allowed us to separate ourselves as a group, because we've got a lot of amazing agents that do wonderful open houses that are just such a platform to showcase who you are and what we're about. And I don't know, I think open houses have changed a lot. What do you guys think?
I think I'm going to segue on that. I think that I think it's actually kind of, for me, it's gotten back to what I used to enjoy doing, which was having the opportunity to meet with my clients prior to going to see a house. And to segue, I think it's as compared to during the COVID years, it was more like the spearfishing, where we got to go look at the house now. Like it didn't matter what time of day it was, didn't matter what day of the week it was, didn't matter what was on my calendar. We went, because lest I keep a client from getting the house that they need. And so now, though, we can catch our breath just a little bit, and we can meet and we can understand and learn about each other, and it's a wonderful dance that we get to do again. So I love that.
I think buying real estate and working with somebody that you have faith in, that you trust, that you've established a really good connection with has always been important. It's always been the way I've run my business. I'm one of the people that would push back on the technology stuff because I want to be in front of you. I want you to know who I am. I want to know who you are. And then I want us to go off into the sunset together and get you a house. But so yeah, all this technology that's come forth, they can do a lot of that stuff without me. So that shines even more how important it is that you get yourself out there and you just learn how to communicate well with people at an open house. I mean, you've got to sparkle and show everything you've got on that 20 seconds, right, before they take off down the hall. Yeah, exactly.
All right, let's talk about our strengths, your strengths specifically. Strengths, that's a hard word to say. What's something in the last 7 years since we've started the Christi Reece Group, or since you've been in business, that you think makes you a better advisor for your clients? Maybe it's communication, maybe it's discipline around pricing, maybe it's knowing the market. Do you help with creative financing? And we all are therapists in this business too, right? We do some emotional coaching with our clients. What do you think your strengths are? I'd like to start with Reece and go around.
My introduction to real estate was my own personal journey in real estate investing. And so I feel like I've had a really good pulse on the market as far as what property values are realistic, what's a good investment. And yes, it's not all about investing, it's a person's home, but it is one of the largest assets they'll ever purchase. So helping them make decisions is going to help their future as well. Even if it might be their forever home, how can they set their family up? What are the limitations of this property? That sort of thing. Mm-hmm. So I would say just having that investor mindset sometimes helps me coach my clients through decision-making process. In addition to that, I feel like I communicate well with my clients. The nice thing about being a real estate agent is even though it's technically a sales position, I never feel like I'm trying to sell my client on a property. If anything, I probably talk them more out of properties than anything. It's being able to communicate to them and understand their needs and helping them, not necessarily get off the fence one way or the other, but helping them, because you told me that this was important to you, we should go check this area out or this house out. And maybe they didn't consider that before. So
love it when you get to guide someone, actually. Yeah. As they don't know the things that we know about the valley and about the houses and everything here. So it's really fun to let people in on those little secrets and emotional cues. Mm-hmm.
And aside from that side of it, we never know what people are going through in their life, where they are in their position. And I feel like one of my strengths is learning that about them, meeting them where they are. You don't know what loss they've had or what new exciting thing is happening in their lives. And I think my strength is in hearing that and listening to that and celebrating with them or being sad with them if they need it. I'm a bit of an empath. I've been known to cry a few times when I've had clients going through some tough stuff. And I used to think, I can't do that, right? But now I just feel like, hey, they're seeing that genuine me also, and they're being vulnerable with me. I like to be that way as well. So that connection ability is probably my strength.
Yeah. And then having them over for dinner afterward.
Sharing a whiskey or two.
Karen's,
yes. With whiskey.
Yes, exactly.
With 8 cherries.
With options. I love it.
Do we have?
I didn't hear that.
If only I
Thank you,
had a
Reece.
bottle that I could raise up right here.
Clip to your 60th birthday party. Yes. I'm going to say, reiterating what you guys have said, but really empowerment, I suppose, would be my number one thing. I think that, helping my clients and making sure that my role is to help them be the hero of their own journey in this big process, right? It's kind of like, I always think of it as in the movie The Fast and the Furious, where the two cars come along and they're driving side by side, and then the one car drives off. It's like I always stay connected with my clients, but it's like, I ride shotgun with them, they ride shotgun with me on this journey, and then I go off and they go off and live their best life. Like, yeah, we did it.
Yeah.
And it's so cool. And then to be once they get clear, and to help that's the whole focus, is to empower them to get clear on what their right next thing is, what resonates with them. It's very Zen to me. And then to go and be the bulldog in the arena for them with max emotional intelligence and negotiation expertise to make sure, to your point too, Christina, that everybody feels like they won. That is success by all standards.
That's the best.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think everyone at this table is an emotional Jedi in terms of being able to reciprocate where people are at and how we communicate with them. And even things like if you're overly excited and you're talking to somebody that maybe isn't as jazzed as you are, and your ability to kind of rate it in and see where that person is and contort yourself in a way that's not inauthentic to you, but just being mindful of the person across from you. I think that my strength in my business, I mean, this is my mom, for those of you that don't know we're related. Hey, yeah, I would echo, being emotionally intelligent and empathetic and all of those things. You and I share that in common, and I think that's such a foundation in both of our businesses. But for me, I feel like where I really stand out is just contract knowledge and doing the best that we can to prevent stressors and hurdles down the road. I mean, I'm constantly looking over your shoulder, behind your back, and probably under your feet to try to, to try to support you in a way that maybe you don't know that you even need support yet.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Agree.
So I think obviously you want to be, you want to listen to your client and try to gather as much information as you can, and having as much experience, having the experience that, we all have after doing this for a number of years. I mean, what I really love about doing this is like you're making it so those problems that come up are not problems. Like you're getting those problems solved before your client knows that it is a problem. And working with the other agents and having like the relationships with the other agents and relationships with all the people in the whole process are so important. And a lot of this stuff just goes unnoticed because, the client, they're worrying about finding the right house, and we're going to do that. But there's all these other little things throughout the process that really help facilitate getting to the finish line. And whatever we're doing, if we're selling, getting the seller the most money, and if we're buying, working with the buyer, like getting them the best price and the best house that, because you're going to see these people, they're going to be our friends, they're our neighbors, and they're going to be somebody that we're going to see at the grocery store I'm not going anywhere. So for the next 5, 10, 15 years, I want to be able, when I see them at the grocery store and they tell me, oh, I love my house and I'm so glad that we found the right one and they helped me with that. I mean, that is the biggest satisfaction. And I can't say enough about how much I love that part of it. And to be, we're getting new people all the time. I mean, we're having new clients, new friends. And so it's super fun.
Yeah.
But you shouldn't come into this business. It's really hard.
It's fun, but
just let us take care of this for you.
Yeah. Love it.
Well, and also, don't you consider sometimes to your point, there are so many problems that we're solving behind the scenes that we don't tell other people about. And I had this conversation with you recently where I said, sometimes I wish we told people what we solved because there is such a perception of ease thanks to, some channels where people flip houses and they're on other large networks that I'm not going to say because that's probably not allowed. But there's an overall opinion that it's easy and it's hard, and we're always looking out for you, even when you don't know that we are.
Yeah. So
I kind of wish that we were a little bit louder about, look what we did. We accomplished this, and these are the things we took off your plate so that you didn't even have to think about it.
Yes, we've talked about that quite a bit. Like, how can we share that with our clients without stressing them out even more? All right, let's talk about something that's been a topic of conversation in our office, in the real estate industry as a whole, and in every industry worldwide, and that is AI. Is AI going to eliminate real estate agents? Thoughts?
No. Just kidding. No, I think if anything, it highlights the need to talk to somebody in front of you. I mean, there's so much information at our fingertips all the time. And while it's a great starting point and a sounding board to, have it ask questions of you and just kind of test your understanding. But, you know, I think ultimately this is a people business, and there's a lot of emotion that goes into what we do and how we interact with our clients. And, you know, what a computer can't do is calm your nerves and hold your hand when you're having a rough day or a tough negotiation. I mean, it'll never replace us, but it'll add to our business and help us to be able to maybe, you know, serve more people at the same time by eliminating some of our tasks. But I don't think it'll ever take our place.
But what about Optimus? And that, you know, they can probably hold your hand.
Optimus Prime?
Optimus, you know, the new robot that Elon's making.
Well, his hand's probably cold, so there's that.
So we're providing a warm hand.
Yes, thank you.
What if they solve that? It'll be a warm hand.
Okay, Mike has a crystal ball.
That's my crystal.
Yeah.
No, AI, is spectacular, but yeah, of course. I mean, this whole thing is so emotional that it's never going to solve that problem, I don't think.
So tell me a little bit about how you use AI, or tell me a little bit about how you think AI can currently benefit buyers and sellers. How can they use it to help with their real estate experience in addition to having an agent?
I don't. I am maybe the one Luddite on our team that I don't have AI on my phone yet, you know, apart from talking to Siri and Googling things. But I don't actively utilize AI yet. And that's intentional. I glean from everybody else. I glean from the best practices. But for me, it's still manual. That's how I process as I type. I write. I love to write. Wordsmithing. That's where I shine. And so that manual analog process is still really important for me until the point at which it resonates for me. But yeah, apart from my e-bike, I'm more analog and manual in my life. I like the sport of it all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm probably the last one to hold out right behind you, right? You'll be the last one to actually come to it. And I push back hard on that. I see it being used in descriptions. Great. I see it as a time saver. I'll come up with a bunch of ideas on my own. I'm a writer too. I like to journal and do all that. And then I might say, you know, help me be more organized today, or help me do that, or I'm planning this get together. What would be some great activity? That's the kind of stuff. I tend to not use it like maybe a bunch of you are using it for your real estate career. I use it more just to keep me going in a straight line personally.
I think for myself with AI, I use it more as a sounding board. It's not that I'm using it to replace my skills or talents. I'm using it to enhance them. I probably already have an idea of what direction I'm going on certain tasks. Or one thing I do use it for is after I've reviewed certain documents, I'll upload documents and ask it to review the documents for me too and highlight any other things I may have missed. So it's more of a sounding board than anything to enhance my current skill set.
Yeah, I love it. And can you think of any ways in which AI is helping the consumer with their real estate transactions right now? What do you think is the best way for them to utilize AI?
Well, I mean, AI is becoming more of a Google. It's becoming more of a search engine. So we're seeing people search for their real estate agent directly on AI.
Which makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. So you certainly, as an agent, you do want to have a presence in the AI world, so that you're capturing that demographic as well. But it can give you great pointers as far as how to prep your home and in similar ways that your agent could. But if you are feeling like you need confirmation, then it can again be a sounding board for you.
Anybody else want to add to that?
I find it interesting that you look at the very top producers in the entire valley, and if you go on there and you ask who's the number one agent in the valley, they're not on that list. So you can't always believe what comes out of there, right?
Right. Algorithms play a big part. Yeah. All right. Well, I have to say, this has been one of my favorite podcasts that we've done. I couldn't be more proud to work with all of you, and your level of professionalism just blows me away. You're so good at what you do. You enjoy what you do, and you make people's lives better. And I really love that about all of you. So thanks for joining me today. I want to wrap up with, let's see. What are you looking forward to the most in the next 5 years of real estate in the Grand Valley for you personally?
So I guess my journey into real estate started with, I bought my first house, gutted and remodeled that, and that became a rental for me. And I've done that several times since. I think that I'm looking forward to continue learning how real estate drives my life, because I think that's how I learn best from my clients too. I mean, you talked about wealth building and how that has, become such a great vehicle for you to be able to advise your clients, because we stand in their shoes and we've stood there before. So, I just built my first house last year. Thanks, Jen. She gave me the little vision board inspiration for that. But, I think the more experience and adventures that we have in real estate in our own personal lives, it just makes us a better advocate and a better human in our business, really. I mean, there's a lot of stress and pain points and excitement and tears and all the things in between. So I'm excited to see where my next move is, honestly, in the next 5 years. I'm sure that'll change.
Yeah, great.
I'm excited. About 92% of my clients come from past client referrals. So I'm excited to see that in 5 years, how that manifests and extrapolates into owning the whole town. So peace out.
We're going to call it Taylor Town.
Just kidding.
That is hilarious. We might have to split it, though. I'm about 80% right now on my path. Something that I'm really excited about is, what the Christi Reece Group has become since we went out on our own, and just watching how we're impacting this community and seeing how everybody else receives it. So I'm looking forward to seeing where we are in 5 years and where we're heading, right, and what we're doing, because it's impressive. I feel so honored to be on this team, and there's lots of places to go, and I wouldn't want to go anywhere else. It's just amazing, and you are an incredible leader.
Thank you.
I mean, I'm more excited about just Grand Junction in general. I mean, you have just so much cool stuff going on here. And so I've been here since 2014, and just to see the changes that has been made in real estate and in recreation, in the river, and what Jen's doing on Dos Rios, and it's just so exciting to be a part of. And I want to invite more and more people to come that are, want to enjoy this environment that we've been lucky enough to be able to enjoy for the last, I don't know how many years. So I love the direction it's going.
I'd say for myself, having been doing this for about 7 years, I haven't went through like a full cycle of my buyers now turning into sellers. And so I'm really excited to see
you're close.
the growth. And a few occasions I have, but I'm really excited to see how their lives have changed as they move up or move laterally or move on to their next chapter, and how we can help them with that adventure. So I'm really excited about that. And then to echo what Mike said, I've been here about 17 years, and it's been so cool to see how this town has, I feel like, pretty calculated growth. They're pretty intentional about most projects, which is really cool to see, and I'm excited for what's to come.
Yeah. You know what? I'm excited now that I am not in the business of selling real estate so much anymore. I don't want my clients to not call me. But, I've been working with the agents on the team to help me with listings and buyers instead of doing that myself. And I'm just excited to see the growth in all of you. It's been amazing to watch you all build your careers and work with so many clients to help them achieve their dreams. And I just want to sit back and watch all of you take it to the next level. I love it. Thanks for doing what you do. And I really do think that we are lucky to work in this industry. I think that we do provide an incredible service to people. We know this community. We know every street. We know the neighborhood. We know the nuances. We know how to find off-market things for people. The success stories we've had within the team of like helping people find their house that they didn't even know was possible. That is some of the most gratifying to me. So I'm just excited to do more of that and see you all just continue to fly. So thanks for being here today. Woo! Collective high five. Woo! Ski more. I'm going to ski more. Well, thanks for all of our listeners and watchers. This has been the Full Circle Podcast with some of the OG agents at the Christi Reece Group. Of course, if you ever want to have a personal conversation and talk about your real estate portfolio or any of the topics we covered today, reach out to any of our agents. Everybody on the team is as well educated as these folks, and we would just love to serve you. So thanks again. I'll see you next time. Bye. Thanks for listening. This is Christi Reece signing out from the Full Circle Podcast.